Can you imagine a day when your best friend says yes to everything you suggest?
Hi, everybody. I'm Jenny Lillidahl. Welcome to Be Brave. At Be Brave, we help people discover lasting personal transformation through creativity, courage, and community. And we believe that through practice and play in a culture of undeniable support, that anyone can transform their mindset to become their best, most amazing self. And I'm here with the lovely friend of mine, Margie Simmons, and we are so excited. Today's topic is pretty light, something kind of joyful. We are going to talk about that power of the word yes and how it can transform and help you reconnect to your own joy, your own self. I don't know about you, Margie, but there have been times in my life where I feel like I'm completely disconnected from myself, that I've lost my sense of play, my sense of creativity, my sense of fun and joy and happiness. And we're going to talk about that little yes tool today. And what's great is this is something we have been practicing for a long time, 25 plus years. Everything we share with you, the tips and little tricks we have for you today are things that Margie and I have used in classrooms and workshops for the last 25 to 30 years. So we are really, really excited to share this one with you because it's something I've used quite a bit in my life. And here's the downside. It seems like in life, the word no has a lot more power than the word yes. And if we get used to listening to the no's, it can again become one of those habits. I can fall into the trap sometimes of listening more to the no's, listening more to the negative things, watching more for the no's than I do for the yeses. And once we fall into that trap, it's pretty easy to sort of go down that rabbit hole of starting to shut yourself down. Oh, I don't have time to do that. I don't have time to take care of myself. I don't have time to do something fun for myself. I don't have time to check in with myself. For me, self-care goes down the hole. So the pitfalls, if you hear yourself saying things like, oh, I knew it was too good to be true, or nothing ever happens nice for me, or I never get to do what I need to do, or I could never, waiting for that other shoe to drop. All of those kind of negative messages can build up and create almost this like crust of nothingness. So we're going to talk about that power of the word yes. Right, Margie?
Yes. And what are those possibilities then if we get it right? So I also don't want to diminish that we often do say yes to others, but not ourselves, which saying yes to others is not a bad thing. We talk about being of service a lot, but today we're really going to focus again on that self-care and, doing something yes for yourself every single day can spark joy and just help to again build those reserves for when you need it. And so what we're talking about today too, they aren't big, huge things necessarily. They could be, but we want to start small, and that might help you build up some. We've heard that you need those 10 yeses to the one no that you were talking about. And the reason is it goes back to our neurology again. That no is simply back to that fight or flight or freeze, that lizard brain that is down in there, keeping us safe from danger. So saying yes can feel a little bit uncomfortable, and that's why we tend to default to that no as well. And it's human nature to want that affirmation. I just wanted to say, so hearing that yes as well can be really, really powerful. So again, I talked about, we often say yes to others, but maybe not to ourselves. That affirmation piece can actually come from ourselves, Jenny.
I know. And you know who I sometimes learn from? Dogs.
Oh,
Think about it. Think about it. Why do we like being around a dog? Why do we like being
they're
around
always
dogs?
happy.
Because they say yes to us. Yeah, they are always happy, but they're constantly affirming us. Dogs rarely judge you. Or I don't know. Does your dog? I've never had a dog judge me, or maybe I'm not.
I have had some look at me side-eyed a little bit cats maybe are a little more
Wow.
judgmental. I'm not sure.
Are very judgmental. Cats are judgmental. That's why I said dogs for sure. But yes, the yes to ourself is again something we forget. And you mentioned the 10-to-1 ratio, and that is something I actually learned from an acting teacher, Jane Brody. And this became part of her training and teaching when she would teach us. And she believed and acted upon this, that for every one no you hear, you need to hear 10 yeses to combat that. And it's sort of what I was saying earlier about we tend to give a little more weight to the word no. If someone says no to us, it hurts more or it kind of impacts us more. But sometimes when we hear yes, we, or at least I'll find myself guilty sometimes of, yeah, really? You said yes? Yes, you did? Okay, yes. So it's like I'm almost checking, like, did you really mean yes? So that 10-to-1, and she taught that way. And I actually kind of stole that from her. And when I've been teaching, you'll hear me saying to students, yes, 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 just on the sidelines, like we need to hear the yeses. And today is about how can you do that for yourself?
Yes, that's so cool, Jenny. And that, yes, even hearing it in the world more is helpful to our brains and so saying it to ourselves is really important. I love that we notice the no more. And that probably is true, which leads me to a really cool idea that a student of ours added in and experimented with her kids. So she would pick a day and she would start in the morning. And when her kid suggested something, she would say yes to it. Like, should we have ice cream for breakfast? And our student would say, yes, we will. And she would carry that out through the whole day. And so she's done this for a few years now. And as her kids have gotten older and different ages, and they've kind of caught onto it. Like, hey, can we take a trip to Europe today? And different things like that. But the idea is to say yes and be open. She said what she really noticed about those days of saying yes to her kids was that there was so much excitement and just, unadulterated joy in these little things that we were doing. She noticed that they weren't really asking for huge things as well. Can we go to the park? Can we do something together? Can we play this game together? So all of those things she noticed, and then she's tried to infuse that saying yes in really just taking a moment of reflection when her child asks her for something, to really take a moment and say, why am I saying no right now? And why am I saying yes right now? So taking that moment to move forward. I love the idea of the yes day. I hope I have someone that, calls me up and says, today's going to be a yes day. Maybe Jenny, you and I should do this together. Be really fun, wouldn't it? It would involve a lot of ice cream. I know that right now. And probably like 3 different pizza places and probably sitting by a lake somewhere and then a bike ride.
Yeah. Water. Bike ride, yes, definitely.
So that I love the story. I hope you're inspired by that to provide some yeses for someone else in your life, which brings us to our first teaching moment. So listening with a yes lens is our first teaching moment for today. And that really is, back to the story of the yes day. It's interesting. She noticed how often her instinct was telling her to say no or try to control the situation or stop that forward momentum. And then when she did actually say yes, they weren't extravagant, crazy things. So saying yes, listening with that yes lens, just try that out and see how it goes. Notice what inklings come up for yourself in the day. If you're like me, you kind of have a running list of all this stuff you should get done. And some of it's really fun stuff like, I want to do I've got these awesome aunts. And so I want to call and check in with them. But so often I'll think like, oh, I wanted to, tell my aunt about this new recipe or something. But I always think, oh, it's going to take too long. I don't have time to do that right now. So listen to those little inklings is the first teaching point today.
Yes, that is it. So you got to pay attention to what your internal voice is saying. If you're going to say yes to yourself, you have to hear yourself first. So the second part is then, if we're going to do this in little baby steps and we're going to practice, the second teaching part of this is to act on one. Just pick one in a day. Just one, and notice the difference it makes. So again, it could be like Margie said, it could be simple, like, I want to call my aunt. For me, sometimes the voice I hear, the no voice is, oh, I just called them last week. They're not going to want to hear from me again. Or, oh, I can't take a shower. It's 3 PM. Or, like I start to notice what rules do you create for yourself that are no's just for the sake of no's. Like, why? And again, it's, Margie said it, it's the neurology. Our brain wants to control. Our brain wants to keep things contained and safe and predictable. And if I say yes to something in the spur of the moment, will the whole world go out of chaos? Will everything just fall apart? Like that, I think sometimes our brains think that is what's going to happen, but it's not true. So the simplicity of pick a small thing that you have an inkling about and say yes to it for yourself. And again, today is about you. Today's about yourself. Again, you probably do this already for other people, but we're going to practice doing it for ourselves. And then the third piece is, guess what it is? That's often number 3, practice, practice, practice. So try to do it like for a week. Try to do it once a day. Try to do, or set up a tracking system for yourself, a journal, a yes journal, whatever works for you, to force yourself to do it once a day, or at least on a regular basis. And I am guaranteeing you, if you do it, you will not only start to feel differently, but you will start to notice that yes lens comes on more automatically, and you'll start to have more ideas. You'll start to feel more creative. You'll start to feel more confident. You'll start to have more inspirations off the spur of the moment. And here's the reason why. The more we say no to our brains, the more we say no to ourselves and our own ideas, the more our brain says, okay, well, then I'm not going to do that anymore. I got told no. Just think of it. It's just like when you're in a meeting and you say, oh, I raise your hand. You're nervous to share your idea. You raise your hand in the meeting. What if we tried this? And if your brain hears, no, 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 did it last year, don't have the budget, stupid idea, your brain is going to go, well, that wasn't safe. That didn't feel good. I'm going to think twice about raising my hand again. So part of this is training your own brain to say yes to yourself so that you can come up with more ideas and you can find that little creative twist on things. So it needs to hear the 10 yeses.
That is so great, Jenny. What I am so excited about this week's Be Brave is that it's so attainable. It's something that we all can practice. It doesn't take a lot. It takes that 1 minute, that one thing. I mean, for you, a shower, that's awesome, Jenny. If you need to take that shower, I think you should just take it. You just don't even have to look at a clock. So I love just saying yes to yourself, trying those. And to summarize what we did today, we just wanted to bring a little bit more joy to ourselves. And so the first thing, part of that is notice. Notice and look at things through a yes lens, and then notice those little inklings that come up. What are those little things that could help you out in a day? And then number 2 is act on one. Have one forward momentum. Won't take a lot, might just take a little step forward. And then third, you know us, it's going to be that practice piece. So practice, 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 and see how it goes.
Yes, this is awesome. And I'm going to give you some assignments. And before I do that, 2 other little things to help inspire you to do a little practice this week. One is what Margie said. It really is a tool that only takes 1 minute. You really don't need a whole day. You don't need even an hour. You don't even need a half hour. just finding that one little yes and acting on it. It can take a minute. It can be really simple. And then the other little piece of inspiration is that in the 25 to 30 years we've been doing this little tool is one of the ones that we hear about most from our students, from the people at our workshops. They say, oh my gosh, I tried saying yes to myself, and I did it this week, and I did it this month, and I can't believe it. So much. I feel so better. I'm so much more connected to myself. I have so much more joy. It's one of the ones that is so simple, but so powerful. So take that with you this week. Try it once a day, once for the week. Record it if you can, or pay attention to what happens when you do that. And the little bonus piece of this is I want you to pay attention to the gifts that show up, the little surprises that show up because of this. So do it. Yes to yourself. Please join the Facebook group. Please share what went well. Please share comments. Please share tips, things you discover, things you want to share, questions. We love talking with you on the Facebook group. And just go for it. We want to hear from you.
Thank you so much, Jenny. I love hanging out with you. It was really fun today, and I love infusing that joy. And thank you to all of you that were watching. We'll watch for you on that Facebook page to interact with you there. And just know that we are with you. So be brave today. See you next week.
Bye, everybody.